In Antarctica, fresh snow feels like the closest thing Earth has to a blank page. No billboards, no sidewalks, no gas stations. Just white, blue, wind, and the suspicious feeling that if anything is out of place here, it should be extremely obvious. So a researcher scoops the top layer of fresh snow into a clean metal container. The sample goes back to a lab. The snow melts. And under magnification, there it is. A tiny colored fiber. It looks absurd, like finding a confetti streamer in a monastery? Or a parking ticket on the moon. Our suspect is small, synthetic, and refusing to comment. In late 2019, researchers collected fresh snow from 19 sites around Ross Island, near Scott Base and McMurdo Station, and farther out at lower disturbance field sites. In a 2022 study, they reported microplastics in every sample. The most common shape was fibers, which makes the case more interesting because this probably is not the story of a dramatic plastic bottle heroically sailing to Antarctica. This is smaller, sneakier, more annoying. But before we blame the entire atmosphere, we have to investigate the awkward first suspect, Antarctica itself. Because Ross Island is remote, but it is not magic. There are research stations, aircraft, vehicles, boots, gloves, jackets, ropes, flags, equipment, people doing careful science while dressed, unfortunately, in materials that can shed. And the researchers knew this. They used contamination controls, clean sampling methods, and lab checks. Because in a case this tiny, the detective can accidentally become the criminal. Also, samples closer to the stations had higher average microplastic concentrations than the more remote sites. So local activity is not a boring caveat. It is a real suspect. Maybe the fiber came from a jacket sleeve, a weathered marker flag, a piece of field gear, tire wear, building material, laundry, some tiny human crumb from the machinery of surviving in Antarctica. But that only moves the mystery one step back. Because how does plastic become the kind of thing that can get into snow at all? This is where the suspect board leaves Antarctica and starts pointing at your closet. Synthetic fleece sheds fibers. Washing machines can become tiny fiber cannons. Tires grind themselves into dust on roads. Paint flakes. Ropes fray. Carpets release fragments. Modern life does not only throw things away. Modern life leaks, fiber by fiber. And once plastic gets small enough, it stops behaving like the object we imagine when we hear trash. A bag blows around. A bottle floats. But a tiny fiber? That can behave more like dust. And the sky is full of dust. Not empty blue nothingness, but a moving crowd of salt, soot, pollen, mineral grains, droplets, smoke, and tiny particles lifted by turbulence and wind. Some studies have found microplastics moving through the atmosphere and being deposited far from obvious sources. Rain can pull particles down. Snow can too. Actually, snow is a strangely good collector. A snowflake falls slowly, with delicate branches and lots of surface area, passing through the air like a tiny net. So one possible route is not someone tossed plastic into Antarctic snow. It is something shed a fiber. The fiber became airborne, air carried it, snow scavenged it, and the white surface quietly filed the evidence. The exact journey of one fiber is hard to prove. It may be local, it may be regional. Under some conditions, tiny particles can travel much farther. But the unsettling part is not that we can track this one fiber like it has a passport. The unsettling part is that the pathway exists. Plastic did not just travel to Antarctica. Some of it became small enough to join the weather, and that changes what remote means. Antarctica is not outside the world. It is inside the same circulating system as laundry rooms, roads, jackets, ocean spray, storms, clouds, and snow. There are no highways across that snowfield, but the planet itself is the road. So when we return to the vial, the tiny fiber looks different. At the beginning, it looked like evidence. By the end, it looks more like a receipt. Proof that civilization keeps mailing tiny pieces of itself to places that look untouched. Fresh snow still falls over Antarctica. It still looks clean. But now it is also a witness. And if you like mysteries this small with consequences this large, subscribe. For now, just watch the snow.